Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I will be posting more. I will be consistent. Okay, I told myself this year, you're going to be consistent and that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you guys enjoy. And in this video, I will be posting opinions I had on TikTok. And I'm posting it here because of everything that happened. And yeah, it was all crazy. But I am going to expound, is that the word? I don't know. I will I will be speaking more about this opinion about Colin and Penelope in another video, probably in a few weeks, because I have to rewatch Bridgerton and really, make sure I have all my points down. But yes, I will be continuing talking about that. And on the channel, I'm just going to be, talking about movies and TV shows that I love. And yeah, so I do agree with most of the things I said in this video, but I wanted to put it out first before I make my overall points in the future. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you for listening to me yap. Okay, bye. Every time I scroll on TikTok, it's mostly Bridgerton, right? And I see as people fully not understand Colin as a character. And it honestly gets on my nerves because his character has been developing since season 1. And it's like everybody is like, oh, well, he didn't have a character develop. He didn't have this, he didn't have that. And I think people believe that because they didn't rewatch season 1 and season 2. And I think you're giving yourself a disservice by doing that, because people be like, oh, this doesn't make sense and this doesn't make sense. Everything about the actions that Colin did in season 3 makes absolute sense if y'all paid attention. I'm so sorry. And the people misunderstanding his character gets on my nerves. So I am going to make a long video about it because we need to address this. We need to address this immediately because this is absurd. I'm absolutely tired of the Colin Bridgerton in the books wouldn't do this. I don't care. Even though I have listened to you guys with the books and stuff, and I think it's interesting because I do think movies and shows being adapted and they were first books, that can be interesting to listen to you guys talking about it. But Colin Bridgerton in the books and Colin Bridgerton in the show is different. So why do y'all keep bringing up Colin Bridgerton in the books? I don't care. Oh, it doesn't make sense. It does make sense. It makes sense if you are paying attention to the show and you're not constantly comparing him in the books. Because yeah, he's not Colin Bridgerton in the books. Colin Bridgerton in the show was established as a soft, kind, a little immature guy who loves love and wants to be taken seriously. He wants to be taken seriously by society, by his family. But because he is not like the normal guy, season 1, he's not like the normal guy who goes to these brothels and is making out with a bunch of women. People see him as this oh, he's just immature, he doesn't know what he's doing, blah, 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 right? So because Colin is this whole I love, he has this idea of this magical love, just like Penelope, right? When he meets Marina, when he first sees Marina, he thinks it's true love. He thinks, oh, she is my dream woman. I need her. I need to be with her. Same with Penelope. She sees Colin. We're in love. I need to be with him. The difference is the Colin and Marina situation happens. They're about to get married. He finds out that she has been lying to him. Didn't tell him about the whole pregnancy thing. So obviously he feels betrayed, right? And then you have that level of he's betrayed, but now he feels very embarrassed because he was already insecure about the fact that he is kind of the opposite of society. And now, his family, especially Anthony, doesn't take him seriously. And it's everywhere. Everywhere. That is established, right? That the Marina situation really messed him up, because I remember seeing him in his bed after the Marina situation, devastated, upset. Then you have season 2. where Colin went on his travels, did that stuff to try to find himself, but he still didn't, because he's trying to escape his life in the Bridgerton town, all of it. He comes back, but he realizes that that didn't help. So he goes and talks to Marina. And just like season 1, he has this idea of Marina. And oh, she's a damsel and she needs my saving. And that's why he keeps calling her Marina Thompson instead of what she's supposed to be called, which I forgot. But, you know, like, he keeps doing that because he sees Marina as this victim instead of who she actually is. And Marina calls him out. And I'm happy that she did, because she was like, guy, like, you're treating me in this way. I don't appreciate that. And he needed that reality check. Then let's go to season 3. Colin has experienced all of that. He's already insecure. He doesn't know himself very well. And he was betrayed by someone he thought he was in love with. He went on his travels again. And his family didn't write him back. The one person that would constantly write him back, Penelope, didn't. That was strange for him. So he's realizing that the one person that has always been by his side is not talking to him, and that's strange. So he tries to, like, talk to her, but she's not talking to him, and he realizes why, and he apologizes. All of that happens between Penelope and him, and he finally realized that he has feelings for her and all that stuff. He is with Penelope. He's in love with Penelope. And he finds out by following her that she is Lady Whistledown. After all that stuff Marina happened, after that betrayal, he finds out in this new relationship with Penelope. He's known her his entire life. Someone that he loves and cares about, that she has been lying to him and keeping a secret from him. And y'all think that he, Colin, who's already insecure and who's already gone through some type of betrayal, should have just moved on from that. Okay. And then people bring up the Marina and Colin situation, how Colin respected Marina more and he loved Marina. No, he didn't. Okay. He had an idea of what love should be, this high romantic love. Same thing as Penelope, right? She had this idea, and they both had to come to reality, like, this is not what it is. Because she saw Colin in a way that he was not. And Colin saw Marina in a way that she was not, right? But with the whole Colin not loving Penelope, Colin in season 1 and season 2 has actively went out of his way to constantly be around Penelope. There are scenes of him looking her up and down. And I remember a specific scene. He's looking her up and down, like staring into her eyes. And Penelope breaks the contact because of how much tension is between them. And you're telling me that Colin didn't have feelings for her. He would actively go out of his way to dance with her, to be around her, to make her laugh. There are scenes in season 1 and season 2 where he goes to grab at Penelope's hand to hold her. He actively tries to touch her because he wants to be around her, because he wants to be here. People say, well, he respects Marina more. No. Marina and Colin and Penelope have a different relationship. Okay? Colin and Penelope knew each other since they were children. So obviously he's going to be more comfortable with her than Marina. And also, Colin and Penelope, when it comes to like etiquette, their etiquette went out the window a long time ago. A man's not supposed to be holding hands with a woman. You know, they're not supposed to be dancing all the time with each other, but they do that because of how close they are. That's why everyone was so used to them always being around each other, because the etiquette between them has gone out the window. So him knowing what he wants, because one thing about Colin, when he knows what he wants, he goes for it. Him knowing what he wants and going directly to Penelope and them doing what they do in episode 3 and 5 makes sense, because their relationship has always been inappropriate, you know, to the time. So it's not it's not crazy for him to be so close to Penelope, but it would be crazy for him to do that to Marina because they're not close. They don't have that relationship. It does not mean that Colin loves Marina more. It means Colin and Penelope's relationship has always been very complex. So let's stop with that conversation that Colin loved Marina more. No, he didn't. He didn't even know Marina. First of all, everybody that's like, oh, Marina could have had a happy life with Colin, and Colin could have had a happy life with Marina. Marina was not in love with that man at all. She was not in love with Colin at all. Colin would have been miserable. And yes, he said he would have raised them the baby and everything, but Marina, what she cared about was protecting her children, which I get it, and herself. She had to do what she had to do. But she already had a true love. Her true love died. Colin was never going to be that for her. And Colin would have been miserable. Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. And then I've already talked about the whole entrapment conversation and the whole Colin saying that he would never court Penelope in season 2. And it's like those situations, first of all, the entrapment comment kind of makes sense only because of what happened between Marina and him and his insecurity getting to him, you know. And it also makes sense him making that comment because of Penelope's mother, Lady Featherington. If you find out that a woman that you're in love with is Lady Whistledown, who's been talking about your family and you and the woman that you thought you were going to be married to, that you thought you were in love with, all that stuff, and you find out that it's your best friend who you're in love with, you're going to question some stuff. That's why everyone who was mad at Eloise as well for being like, oh, was she only my friend? Da, da, da. They're both processing the fact that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And she said some rough things in Lady Whistledown. Like, I feel like we're all forgetting that. So yeah, you're going to question some stuff. Now, obviously, we know Penelope has not been like a mastermind this entire time. But I gave them space to do that because at the end of the day, anybody would think that way. Anybody would question the relationship just a little bit if they found out that their best friend was a gossiper talking about their family and them. And this whole thing of Colin should have been mad at Penelope for so long. He was mad at her for maybe like 2 episodes maybe. And even through that entire time, he constantly went out of his way to help her. Now, he was a little mean. He was a little mean. I will admit that. Okay? You didn't have to say that no one cares about her opinion when she was trying to help with the whole money thing with Cressida. But like, he still cares about Penelope, obviously. Nothing about this season to me was like, oh, he ignored her. Colin could have 100% called off the wedding. Colin could have 100%, like, you know when they get married, the bedroom is right there. He didn't have to sleep in the front door, like in the front of the door. He could have slept anywhere else, but he chose to sleep there. You know why? Because even though he was mad at her, he still loved her. And then people brought up, oh, well, he denied her their wedding night. But Colin would never. This Colin, show Colin, has been established as saying that he wants a connection. He sees passion and love the same, right? And that's why in the part 1 of season 3, it was weird for people to see him doing like these threesomes and stuff, because that's not Colin. Colin is not this like making out with a bunch of women guy. That's not him. So that's why people were like uncomfortable with certain things he was doing, and that's why he was doing that, to separate himself from the love and passion. But he doesn't want to do that anymore in part 2. So he can't force himself to be passionate with Penelope knowing he's upset with her, because he's in love with her, because he cares about her, right? But y'all just want a scene of them being together and him what? Losing all of his character development so that they just can have the scene together? Like, anyway. Even when Colin was upset, he continued to show how much he loves her, right? Now, there was a little bit of jealousy when it came to the writing thing. I think there was a little bit of jealousy, obviously. But he admitted that. And in all of season 3, this is why I really love season 3, because it wouldn't have made sense for Colin to be the one that's just trying to forgive Penelope, because they're both two characters. Well, Penelope, because Colin didn't really do anything. I mean, the comment about I would never court Penelope, that was a little mean, but at the same time, I don't think that he was doing it in a way to be like, Penelope. Like, that's not what he meant by that. He meant, like, in his brain, that's my friend. That's all. Like, I don't see her in that way because she's my friend, which makes sense. Everyone acting like Colin not having a clue, which, and sometimes it's like, you know, but their relationship is so complex compared to other people that it makes sense that he would miss it. It does. I'm sorry. People talk about how Colin should have been up on that stage with Penelope. After the speech, he should have went up there with her and declared that he was in love with her and everything. And my problem with that is Penelope has been saying for at least a few episodes now of season 3 that she doesn't need Colin to save her, because Colin has a hero complex. He does. That's been established since season 1 that he tries to protect people and save people, and that can be I don't want to say dangerous, but sometimes we don't need that, right? Penelope has told him, I don't need you to save me. I need you to be there for me. I need you to love me. So him not going up there after her speech was him supporting her, because she doesn't need him to save her. Again, all Penelope needed from Colin was to love her and support her in her decisions. And that's what he did. That's what he did, especially with that last love confession. I also just love this season so much because the love confessions that they have had, like Colin had like at least 3 love confessions to Penelope, and Penelope had a few love confessions to Colin. It's them both fighting for each other. Even if they're mad at each other, they're still both fighting for each other. And people comparing this season to season 1 or season 2 or Queen Charlotte Bridgerton story, it was never going to be the same. Now, I do wish there was flashbacks, but I don't think we really needed flashbacks, only because of the development that's been happening since season 1 that I feel like people are forgetting. Penelope is Lady Whistledown. So that is a factor in her story that needed to be told. So for people to act like it would have been the same story as season 1 or season 2 makes no sense to me. They needed to address the Lady Whistledown stuff. Penelope was always going to have to kind of like defend herself in a way and earn the love back from Colin, but also Colin earned the love from her. It was going to be like this kind of balanced, we both need to earn our love for each other because we've both hurt each other in ways. So people, I don't know, like I get it. I get why people are like, they wanted Colin to like because he took so long realizing that he was in love with Penelope, but you know, Penelope was Lady Whistledown. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. All of that to say, because that was a long video that I made. Colin always loved Penelope. Penelope always loved Colin. It was very obvious since the very beginning. And I feel like a lot of you wouldn't have been so shocked or confused about the actions of Colin if y'all either was obsessive like me when it comes to shows and remembered everything, or rewatched the seasons, because the character development of Colin makes sense. And at first, you know, when you first watch it, you're like, what? Why did you do this? But when you go back and Like, actually pay attention to what has been happening. Because compared to the other couples, they didn't have seasons of development. Colin and Penelope did. So it just makes sense. Anyway, love this season.